I'm going to give you 2 NBA players, and you are going to tell me who will be better in 5 years. Welcome, everyone, back to the Smoker Fire Show. I am your host, Jack Alexander. Alongside me, as always, is Alex Walters in the building. Owen can't make it. He is doing more important things, apparently. No, we got life stuff. So it's just me and Alex today. So to begin, out of these 2 players, who do you think is going to be better in 5 years?
Okay.
We have Jason Tatum and Paolo Banchero. He's 31. So Jason Tatum's 31 at this point, and Paolo Banchero is going to be 27.
Are we saying whose career has been better, or in 5 years, like when they're 31 and 27, who's the better player?
Like at that point, who are you going to take to start your franchise? Or not start your franchise, but go and win a championship.
Well, when you put it that way, it's a little different. Give me Paolo.
Still Paolo? Okay.
Yeah, because he's obviously 4 years younger. He'll be just at the beginning of his peak. Tatum's going to be on the tail end of it, and not everybody is LeBron James or like Stephen Curry to where once their peak is over, they're still going to drop 25, 6 and 9 a night. So yeah, give me Paolo.
Well, when you think of, the best players in the league right now, the 2 best is Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're both 30 years old or 31 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're over that 30-year mark pretty much. So if we're talking like peak,
How old's Luka? 26? 26?
25.
25, yeah. So
he's an anomaly. That's an anomaly.
Tatum's also just not on the level of like a Giannis or Jokic, personally.
And I also think at this point in their career, at 31 years old, if he is still on the Boston Celtics, I mean, that team already is extremely expensive.
They're going to be.
If they – I think the Magic at that point are going to be the better team. So I guess it's going to be – little different as far as just how their teams are constructed, which would probably give Paolo the edge there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it's all based off of like the Magic will be in a better position by that year.
Yeah, I think they would definitely be. So it's hard for me not to say Jason Tatum, but I think I'm going to Paolo as well.
The right choice.
And just so you know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 of these.
Okay.
So next up on the list, we have Amen Thompson and Stephon Castle. Amen Thompson's 27, Stephon Castle's 25.
Oh.
This one is I pulled this one pretty hard because
I'm gonna say, based off how things are now currently constructed with their team, it will be Amen, solely for the fact that Stephon Castle is still going to have to take time from De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, those other guards that play for the Spurs.
I think in 5 years he has that role, though. Does he not?
Maybe
at 25 years old?
Maybe from Devin. He probably wouldn't take it from De'Aaron just yet. De'Aaron probably would still be starting, but I could see him taking it from Devin Vassell.
So he probably is running like the 2 guard at this point.
Yeah, but Amen Thompson
just starting.
Amen Thompson is definitely
Amen Thompson's like dog.
He's definitely the Houston.
And he's gonna be 27.
Houston has shown that they're gonna fully entrust in him, and he's gonna be their guy. Is what it looks like right now.
Like number 1 option type of guy.
Possibly, yeah. Because they kind of have like wavering faith in Jalen Green. They don't think Alperen Sengun can probably be number 1, and I don't think on the pedestal any of them can. Like Tyrese and Jabari Smith, none of them are going to overtake Amen.
Amen Thompson's going to have that role in 5 years, you think?
Yeah, just because I don't see Houston having faith in Jalen Green, at least not now. I mean, they gave him an extension, but it wasn't, 4 years, $250 million. It was, I think, a 2-year or 2 or 3 year extension. Like, it wasn't anything crazy.
Who, Amen Thompson?
For Jalen Green, no. So I think,
Jalen Green.
And that's possibly the only person that he'd have to worry about taking over for him. 3-year, $106 million. So yeah, he didn't even get a full 4 or 5.
Yeah, and we're talking 5 years down the line. He's definitely going to have that spot. So you going Amen Thompson or you going Stephon Castle?
I'm gonna go Amen.
Yeah. Especially with his age too, he's going to be closer to his prime. So
Yeah.
this next one, I was really wanting Owen to be a part of this because I just know how much he hates this player. We have a 31-year-old Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus a 28-year-old Anthony Edwards.
Gosh. Oh man.
At this point, SGA's probably got 2 rings, two MVPs. Anthony Edwards, I don't know where his career is going to be at in 5 years, just simply due to the fact that he plays on the Wolves, and that's just how it goes when it comes to the Wolves. I don't think he'll have that type of roster construction that SGA would have had. So as far as a career goes, I think SGA is going to have that edge, but I don't know. Like just like how Stephen A. Smith said, Anthony Edwards is box office. He might not be as efficient. He might not get to the free throw line as much, but he is a lot of fun to watch. And now at 28 years old, even if he even is on the Wolves still, which I probably would bet against it because they're not going to have Naz Reid most likely. They're somehow going to get rid of Rob Dillingham. Like these players aren't going to last on this team. And I'm not saying that I want this to happen, but I know how the Wolves work. So with that said, I think I'm going to go SGA.
Oh man,
you having trouble with this?
Yes, because Shai is obviously an MVP candidate this year, but I'm thinking now 5 years down the line, where will he be?
5 years down the line, Anthony Edwards is also going to be MVP candidate. Yeah. So that's why it's hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Owen. Give me Shai.
Yeah,
Shai is just his offensive capabilities are. I want to say they're not too far off overall. Like what they can give you, but I also think Shai's defensive, he's a better defender than Ant, and I don't see that really going anywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna take Shai. I'm gonna have to take Shai.
So what's the difference between this and with the Jason Tatum argument? Because one of the big reasons why he didn't take Jason Tatum is because of his age.
Because again, there's levels to it, right? Tatum won a championship and arguably wasn't even top 10 in what is his prime. Paolo isn't in his prime and was about at the same level as what Tatum was this past year when healthy.
Okay.
So,
but Anthony Edwards is not to where SGA is currently, but he will be in 5 years.
But Shai is already top.
So
10.
how much higher can he go?
Shai's the best point guard in. Yeah, no, Shai's the.
You're
Shai's
like
the
a fan. Come on now.
Shai's
over Luka.
Luka has played what 20, 29, 30 games this year. Probably not even that much, actually. Don't quote me on that.
No, he's coming off of a finals run, dude.
I know, but I'm talking right now. Shai.
Okay, this year, obviously, but he's been dealing with injuries, so that's
okay. So even then, what Shai is the second best point guard in the league?
Sure, yeah, I can roll with the second,
and arguably front runner for MVP this year.
Okay, who's the best shooting guard in the league outside of
Donovan Mitchell?
Okay, number 2,
Anthony Edwards.
Okay,
so but you have to admit that the gap between the number 1 point guard in Luka and the number 1 shooting guard in Donovan Mitchell, there is a pretty hefty gap there. You can't tell me that Donovan Mitchell.
He is the best player on the best team in the league. Donovan Mitchell.
Your top two point guards currently are MVP candidates when healthy. Your top 2 shooting guards are nowhere near that right now.
I wouldn't
even
say
your top
so, no.
3.
No, I mean he is the best player on the best team in the league, but I don't think that
he's averaging
31-year-old SGA.
He's averaging 32 on the best team in the league.
Yeah. I mean, he is pretty much the focal point of that whole offense. I think the Cavaliers are kind of more spread out as far as scoring goes, but I think his impact on the Cavs, is just as I don't want to say just as much as SGA, but it's damn near close. But if you take Donovan Mitchell out, this is probably a playoff team. If you take SGA off, if you take SGA of the Thunder, I wouldn't say they're a playoff team. I mean, maybe it's.
Your
I wouldn't
second
even
best
want to say
player
they're
is
ranked because you're going up against the Wolves and you're going up against the Warriors
your
around
second
that
best
area.
player. Your second best player this year, and I don't mean this in any slight to him because he is great. Is J-Dub.
Yeah. So
Like-
what I'm saying is like, but regardless, I still think if you took Donovan Mitchell off the Cavs right now,
They'll be fine.
no, they'd be probably a fringe playoff team.
In the East, no, I don't think so.
I guess in the East, they're
You
probably
got to remember
a low playoff team.
the Bulls
But,
are
like,
the 10th seed.
generally,
Or the 9th seed.
as far as if you balance it out, they're going to be probably in the middle of the pack. Because that's how they
Arguably,
were.
yeah.
That's how they were back before the trade. I mean, this is
They're
kind of a
somewhere in
just
that, like,
young team
5 to
that
8 seed.
has potential. That's pretty much all they were until Donovan Mitchell came. Next player is on the list. This is kind of an interesting one, honestly. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo at 35 years old, or Zion Williamson at 29.
Zion.
Zion,
Yeah. Like, hold on.
I think at that point his injuries are just gonna take over.
Well, let's not act like Giannis is now. He's a lot healthier than Zion. Do not get me wrong.
1,000
Go ahead
times.
and clear that.
But when Zion's on the court, when he's healthy, so it just kind of
He is-
depends on if he's healthy or not.
He has been phenomenal when he plays this year, though.
I saw a stat where it said so first of all, he hit the 5K mark, and that was one of the quickest players to ever do it.
Yeah, but it was based off games played, so it's a little skewed. I mean, he's 20. He's a lot older now
Yeah.
than what he would have hit it earlier, but due to injuries, he hasn't been able
That
to.
proves the
play.
point even more, though. So when he is on the court,
That's
he's
what I'm saying.
dominant.
Zion. I'm taking Zion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Zion too. All right, let's get into the college bag a little bit. 23-year-old Cooper Flagg, 23-year-old Dylan Harper.
See, this is hard because I don't know where.
Depends
they're
on
gonna
the
meet.
team. Yeah, because the thing is depending on where you go.
I'm
It's-
gonna go
you-
based off the most recent mock draft. So I'll let you talk real quick, but I'm gonna pull it up.
What I'm thinking is, you look in New Orleans. I mean, even DeJounte Murray said it himself, or not DeJounte Murray. Who got traded for DeJounte Murray? Was it Dyson Daniels? He was saying like how messed up New Orleans is when it comes to injuries. He was saying that it was like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was pretty much saying like it was haunted. Like there was something wrong down in New Orleans where just everyone gets injured. So if like Cooper Flagg or Dylan Harper go to a place like New Orleans where the culture isn't there, voodoo magic is happening in a negative way, like that could easily change someone's career. I mean, look at the Philadelphia 76ers. That's another example.
So the current mock has Cooper Flagg going to the Wizards and Dylan Harper going to the Pelicans. So give me Cooper Flagg.
Dylan Harper going to the Pelicans?
Yep.
Yeah, depending on where they go. I mean, it could be one of them could go to San Antonio at this point.
Overall, truthfully, I do think it will be. I think Cooper Flagg will all around be the better player. Dylan Harper might have a better offensive bag in 5 years, but Cooper Flagg will
defensively. Cooper Flagg is probably going to be in Defensive Player of the Year talks at 23 years old.
And it's going to be tough because of Vic, but he will. I think Cooper Flagg will be an all around better player, so I'm going to take Cooper. I'm also biased.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dylan Harper just because the upside offensively.
Yeah,
I think he can just carry a load offensively for a team, and I think that can translate to more wins.
I'm not mad at that.
It's tough. It's tough, though. We have – so depending on how you feel. So think of it this way. Before I say the names, Stephen Curry is, I think, now 36 years old. But you look back to last year, kind of think where Stephen Curry is at 35 years old. Think of where LeBron was at 35 years old. That was when he went to LA. That was before his last championship.
Yeah.
We have 35-year-old Nikola Jokic going up against 28-year-old Cade Cunningham. Think of it this way, dude. At this point, definitely a 4-time MVP, probably multiple-time champion in 5 years. Still kind of on the back end of his prime. versus most likely a top 5 point guard at 28 years old.
See, the thing I'm going to say here is Jokic's game does not require a lot of athleticism, so he should be fine.
Exactly.
But with age comes a lot of problems. And the way he is not fat, I would clarify that now, but the way he takes care of his body is a little questionable for someone of that age.
Okay.
And Cade is so young, but again, you're comparing him to somebody who is a generational talent.
That's why it makes it so difficult.
You know what? I have to say, man, I hate saying that because
You're betting against the 4-time MVP, 5-time MVP, possibly.
I'm not betting against him. I've died by the side of Cade Cunningham for so long, and yet I'm gonna have to say Nikola Jokic because I have to.
35 years old. Is he still on the Nuggets at this point?
Yes, he's a lifer.
If he's still on the Nuggets, he's still the guy. But Cade is still going to be the guy too. I think at 28 years old, that's his peak prime, and he was a number 1 pick for a reason. I'm going to go Cade Cunningham. I don't think it's going to be far. Like this is close. It could easily be super close. But the thing is, it could flow one way or the other.
Who's to say Jokic just won't stop dominating? I don't. Again, like it's a lot of
entirely possible.
It's just skill and IQ. It's not a lot of its athleticism.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Cade is going to be so much younger.
Cade is going to be so good at 28 years old.
Yes, he is. He's great.
So I think I'm going to go Cade. Because he's 23, dude. He's the same age as Ant.
I don't blame you.
Next up, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 more to go. We have a 34-year-old Karl Anthony Towns going up against a 27-year-old Alperen Şengün. Again, another player here. Yes, he's 34, younger than Nikola Jokic by a year. His game doesn't require too much athleticism.
How long is Cat going to be? Is he still going to be a Knick? Because Thibodeau, the way Thibodeau runs him, Cat will be 60 years old at 34. So I'm give me Alperen Şengün.
It's hard to bet against a 27-year-old that is at 22 is showing a lot of promise. I mean, we call him Baby Jokic for a reason. So if his game kind of looks like Nikola Jokic, it's not going to. That's another player that doesn't really require a lot of athleticism. I'm going to go Alperen Şengün as well.
Oh, well, I just think that if he keeps playing under Tib for the next 5 years, he will be 60 years old instead of 34.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We have a 30-year-old Ja Morant or a 31-year-old Trae Young.
Oh, Trae Young. I like Nope, I don't know. I think Trae Young is so underrated at this point, and I know people hate him. I'm from Charlotte. I'm not from Charlotte, but I'm from North Carolina, so I'm with a lot of Charlotte fans. They despise Trae Young because they're division rivals. But what we have seen is him, I want to say this year, lose Jalen Johnson. He lost to DeJounte Murray, which I know that they never paired well together anyway. He has still practically carried Atlanta to another successful, which will be a play-in. He's carried them to the play-in again this year with a team that has dealt with so many injuries. And Clint Capella, who I just, at this point, isn't as good as he used to be.
No.
He's also he has led the league in assists for what, 4 years now, it feels like?
Probably.
It's something like that. Like, Trae Young, people will love to say he is Stephen Curry. He is not Stephen Curry. He is Steve Nash. And
with kind of more of a Stephen Curry shot.
With more shot. And I'm a big Trae Young believer, so give me Trae Young. Also, Ja Morant's athleticism, it just scares me because a lot of his game does require his athleticism.
He's only 30 years old, man. He's not even that old.
I know, but
that's not at all.
But we've already seen some injury issues related to
that scares you. It scares you that much?
It doesn't scare me that much, but I think in the scheme of comparing him and Trae Young together,
Mm.
it gives Trae Young the edge for me.
So the thing is when I was putting these together, I didn't even really go into what I thought about it outside of maybe a couple of these. Like with the Dylan Harper thing, I always kind of felt Dylan Harper was going to be the best. But with this one, I didn't really think too much into it. So now that I'm thinking about it, yes, it has athletic. Like you got to look into most of his game revolves around his athleticism. But I don't think he's going to be as flashy as we think he will be in 5 years.
Yeah.
His team, like where he's at, is another thing. So it kind of depends on where Trae Young is going to go. But let's say Josh stays in Memphis. I think that organization is going to put pieces around him that will give him more success than Trae Young.
Yeah.
I mean, individually, I can understand where you're coming from with Trae Young. But as far as who is more box office, who is more seeing more success at 30, 31 years old, I'm going to go John Morant.
Hey, I have nothing against that.
It's tough.
These
next two are going to be okay. I'm really excited to hear what you think about this last one, but we got to get to this one first. 30-year-old Luka Doncic.
Okay.
It's hard to beat. Straight up, like I'm thinking, like if I'm going through all the players, a 30-year-old Luka Doncic, who think of it this way: Giannis, Jokic, that's their age right now. So, and we think of 25-year-old Jokic, 25-year-old Giannis, not to the level where Luka is, but he's going up against a 26-year-old Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, I knew it. I knew that was where you were going with this one.
I mean, who else would I go with?
Vic.
To be honest, like
Give me Vic.
Who's going to compete with a 30-year-old Luka besides Wemby?
Oh God, I want to say Vic. But I also want to say Luka.
I'm going Luka because
I'll go Vic then. I'll go.
Okay. Here's the thing. 26 years old at this point. I don't think. First of all, I think Luka is going to be the face of the league, especially since he's in LA.
It's a good chance.
And with the 26-year-old Wemby, how old is Zion? He's
24.
He's 24.
Yeah, okay.
He's 24 because I got him 29 right here. So 5 years ago, it's 20. So yeah, what is he now? 21 years old. Give him a few years. Put a few seasons of 82 games, deep playoff runs. How tall is he? 7'2", 7'3", 7'4"? I don't even know how tall the dude is. But when we see these types of players go on deep playoff runs for long periods of times, which I know Wemby will do because he's in a great organization.
Mm-hmm.
That is wear and tear on that long ass legs. Give me Luka. Is that a hot? Okay, it might be a hot take, but give me Luka at 30 years old. Think about Giannis right now. Think about Giannis right now. Think about I know I already said this, but like the best players in the league right now, outside of Shea and outside of Luka, are around that. Like usually, a person's prime is going to be anywhere between like 28 to 31.
Okay.
That's exactly where Luka is. He's only 26 years old, and I guess Tatum is 26 right now. When he won that championship, Stephen Curry back in 2015, he was 26 years old, so that's kind of like the start of everything.
Yep.
But I'm kind of banking on his body kind of not really handling everything.
Bro, what the hell? Oh man.
Is that not a realistic outcome?
It is just because
he's so hyped up.
It's because of the history of like 7-footers.
Yes.
His first year he played 71 games. That is great. That is perfect. That's about what you want every year.
What? Okay. I'm not rooting on someone's downfall. I'm a big fan of Victor Wembanyama. But he ended the season now with a blood clot. And I was watching something of trying to like figure out what is the most realistic thing that will come out of that situation. And it was the Brandon Ingram outcome, where he had it, I believe, in his second year. He was out for the rest of the season. Then we never talked about it since.
Yeah.
But Chris Bosh had the same thing. And that ended his career.
He's a lot older, though. You have to remember that. He was a lot older than where Vic is now.
So that changes things?
That does.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to act like I know what I'm talking about.
Either. But like, also, Asar Thompson had blood clots.
Yeah.
Yep. You could not tell the way he plays, the way he's played this year. You can't tell. So it truly just depends on how Vic himself comes back from it. And they caught it so early on that they could just nip it in the bud like entirely here.
I just know with that, plus how tall he is.
I mean, yeah, that's a big problem as well.
There's going to be an injury down the line at some point, and it's probably in the next 5 years.
But I would say, with that being said, like, if you look a lot at like the bigs now, I guess the closest thing I could possibly compare him to is Giannis. They're not the same height at all, but like, the same, like, your tall, linky dude, because that's what originally Giannis was. Is we've seen a lot of like Giannis take bigger steps towards his health. Now I know a little bit now is different at the age of 31 or 30, but that just comes with athleticism and age as well. I think truly Vic could come out of this on top. I mean, you also are playing for the same franchise that had a guy like Tim Duncan, who was just an Iron Man.
Yeah.
And
he's in a great position to win a lot of championships.
You look at their history with bigs, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Vic. They know what they're doing. So that's the only reason I have to say Vic. Is just
the thing is so does LA. So does LA. They also know what they're doing.
LA does.
I think that's the hardest question out of all of these.
Sometimes.
Right. But I think that's the hardest question out of all of these. Let me know in the comments below
this one's hard.
What do you guys think? Is it a 30-year-old Luka Doncic or is it a 26-year-old Victor Wembanyama? Because honestly, that's probably the two best players in the league in 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Plus maybe Shea. Shea's got. I mean, he's 31 at that point. Paolo Banchero, 27. Cooper Flag. I mean, 23 years old. That's like that's exactly where Anthony Edwards is right now.
DJ and Mbenga will have been drafted at that point. The Boozer brothers.
Yeah. Dude, they'll probably be a little. They'll be a little young.
No, they will.
Those guys will be a little young.
5 years to the league from now will be insane.
I got one more for you. I'm really curious on what you're gonna think. For me, it's actually a really easy question.
Okay.
But we got a 10-year gap here.
Oh God.
35-year-old Joel Embiid.
Oh, it's easy then.
You know what I'm gonna say?
It doesn't matter. Joel might not even play anymore after this year. So.
Well, we got a player that's probably not gonna. I hope isn't in the league.
Who?
At this point? A 45-year-old LeBron James.
Give me LeBron James. I don't care.
Dude, I know that. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be as easy as that was, but
LeBron. Even if LeBron is retired, I would take LeBron James on
retired. I was but my thought process was retired, probably out of shape.
Come on,
he's gonna be out of shape.
There's no way he would be out of shape.
He's 45 years old.
Joel Embiid might be getting another surgery in 5 years, so I'll take.
Joel Embiid might not even have his legs.
No,
like LeVar. I mean, those completely separate circumstances, but like the amount of wear and tear on his knees at 35 years old is going to be absurd. He's going to be around in a wheelchair.
Hopefully, Joel recovers, and I do hate this for him. But LeBron.
Yeah. So that's all the players I got there. So we got.
Some of those had me thinking. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm glad because that's kind of the point. If it was too easy, it wouldn't make much for dialogue there. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Whatever you guys think between Luka and Wemby, I need to know it. Which one of these was easy? Let me know in the comments which ones were easy. Which ones were difficult? Which ones do you guys think like you honestly don't have an answer for? And I feel like there's a few of those in there for me. The Jason Tatum, Paolo Banchero, I don't know. You said Paolo, right?
I said Paolo, but it could be argued. I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong either way.
Yeah. I think I still got to go Jason Tatum on that.
I was gonna say I don't blame you because people truly. I know a lot of people are gonna say Paolo, truly because everybody just doesn't like Tatum because of he's a little cringy. But let's not forget
corny, whatever.
He is a great basketball player.
Well, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you on the next one.